The Absurdist Files: 50 Strangest Holiday and Celebration Laws in America. America is a land of fireworks, parades, inflatable snowmen, patriotic pies, and a yearly calendar stuffed with more holidays than any nation reasonably needs. But behind all this festive chaos hides something even more uniquely American: a labyrinth of holiday laws so bizarre, so needlessly specific, so cosmically confusing, they make you wonder if lawmakers were drafting legislation or simply losing bets. These aren't rules about tax codes or safety regulations. No. These are laws about how tall your Christmas tree can be, when you're legally allowed to carol, whether you can dress as Santa without paperwork, and in one truly heroic case, whether a donkey is permitted to nap in a bathtub during a holiday weekend. Spoiler: the donkey is absolutely not allowed. Every one of these laws is real. Every one is still on the books. And every one proves a simple truth: the holiday spirit is powerful, but American bureaucracy is stronger. Today we're opening the file on the 50 strangest holiday and celebration laws in America. Inside this folder, you will find laws born from chaos, regulations crafted from panic, ordinances forged from petty neighborhood disputes, and at least 3 policies clearly written by someone who desperately needed a nap. So grab your peppermint latte, prepare your legal disclaimers, and buckle in, because we're about to tour the moments in American history where logic took a holiday and the government wrote it down. Fasten your seatbelts. The festive stupidity starts now. 1. The Christmas Light Curfew, Arizona. Arizona's Fountain Hills once implemented a rule limiting how long you can keep your Christmas lights up, mandating they be removed shortly after January begins. The law was born after years of neighborly feuds, where residents left their blinking reindeer displays lit well into March, turning cul-de-sacs into year-round North Pole simulations. Police reportedly received complaints ranging from sleep disruption to psychological distress caused by excessive jingling. If your decorations are still twinkling on January 16th, congratulations. Your holiday cheer is now a code violation. 2. The Snowball Prohibition, Colorado Severance, Colorado, used to classify snowballs as projectiles, placing them in the same legal category as weapons and therefore banning snowball fights entirely. Generations of children grew up staring at fresh snowfall like inmates gazing longingly at freedom. The law remained untouched until a 9-year-old boy petitioned the city to legalize snowball combat as a fundamental childhood right. When a 4th grader has to fight City Hall so kids can throw snow, you know the system has issues. 3. The Anti-Thriller Dance Law, New York, Halloween. One New York county banned group zombie dances on Halloween due to concerns they encouraged unsafe gatherings and public disturbances. This meant you could dress as a zombie, groan like a zombie, smell like a zombie, but you absolutely could not dance like one. Local Halloween events reported confused performers frozen mid-choreography as officers dispersed entire Thriller lines. Somewhere in New York, a lonely glove sequined in glitter is still waiting for justice. 4. The Easter Bunny Permit Rule, Wisconsin. In one Wisconsin town, anyone hosting a public Easter egg hunt must secure an official municipal permit, complete with paperwork, event mapping, and occasionally an inspection. The law was crafted after one disastrously overcrowded hunt led to toddlers rioting over plastic eggs like miniature Black Friday shoppers. The city decided the only solution was government-regulated Easter joy, because nothing says springtime whimsy like bureaucratic oversight of a man in a rabbit suit. 5. Fireworks only if pets approve, New Hampshire. A New Hampshire ordinance requires residents to ensure their holiday fireworks do not distress domestic animals, a standard so vague it may as well read, "If Mrs. Henderson's Chihuahua trembles, you're guilty." Pet owners gained near dictatorial control over neighborhood celebrations, launching noise complaints like surface-to-air missiles. Fireworks sellers now jokingly offer pet apology coupons with every purchase. In this town, the real 4th of July authority is the nearest skittish golden retriever. 6. The caroling curfew, Maine. Several towns in Maine enforce noise restrictions that specifically call out caroling groups after 10 p.m., as if rogue choirs once terrorized neighborhoods by weaponizing harmonies. Reports suggest that late-night carolers caused everything from barking dogs to existential dread among night shift workers. Police allegedly received calls along the lines of, "Please send help, they're on verse 3. When Silent Night becomes a police matter, the holidays have officially gone too far. 7. No clergy costumes on Halloween, Alabama. Alabama prohibits impersonating clergy members, even as a Halloween costume, placing priests, nuns, and ministers on the same forbidden list as controlled substances. The law aimed to prevent fraud, but ended up criminalizing entire aisles of costume shops. Teenagers have been fined for wearing outfits deemed too papal for public spaces. In Alabama, the only holy thing allowed at Halloween is the amount of sugar kids consume. 8. The 10-foot tree limit, Los Angeles County, California. Los Angeles County fire codes require special permits for Christmas trees taller than 10 feet, turning extreme holiday decorating into a regulated sport. Homeowners seeking giant trees must file permits, submit measurements, and occasionally endure a fire marshal judging their tinsel choices. One family reportedly downsized their tree after realizing the permit process cost more than the tree itself. If your holiday spirit reaches higher than 10 feet, LA wants paperwork. 9. Donkey feeding restrictions after dark, Alaska. Some Alaskan municipalities regulate the feeding of reindeer and similar animals after sunset during winter festivals. The rule emerged after several over-enthusiastic holiday reindeer incidents involving overeating, fence destruction, and one reindeer allegedly chasing a tourist through a parking lot. Officials concluded nighttime snacks were fueling ungulate chaos. When Santa's backup dancers start causing property damage, it's time for legislation. 10. No public Thanksgiving turkey wash, Oregon. 1. Oregon County passed a law banning the outdoor washing of large poultry near public parks and fountains after a Thanksgiving-related incident turned a water feature into a raw poultry splash zone. The ban followed years of families attempting to rinse turkeys in public spaces like they were inflatable pool toys. Officials cited unsanitary bird handling and traumatized parkgoers as justification. If your turkey bathes in a community fountain, the problem is not the turkey. 11. Valentine's Day flower price control, Maryland. Maryland once enacted a consumer protection rule preventing florists from dramatically increasing prices right before Valentine's Day. Lawmakers were responding to a romantic panic era where roses cost more than monthly rent and couples risked bankruptcy trying to express affection. Enforcement led to undercover inspectors visiting flower shops disguised as last-minute boyfriends. When your government has to regulate love because capitalism gets too excited, romance becomes an economic crime scene. 12. No holiday confetti cannons, Tennessee 1. Tennessee town banned launching confetti cannons during any holiday parade after a 4th of July incident turned Main Street into a months-long glitter apocalypse. Cleanup crews reported still vacuuming sparkles from sidewalks in October, long after patriotism had faded. Residents complained that the confetti mixed with rain and glued itself to cars, pets, and one extremely patient llama. When a single parade creates a glitter ecosystem, legislation is inevitable. 13. No dressing dogs as Santa without a permit, Massachusetts. Some Massachusetts municipalities require animal performers in holiday events to pass safety checks, resulting in a bizarre loophole where dressing your dog as Santa may legally require municipal approval. The rule allegedly emerged after a poorly fitted costume caused one enthusiastic beagle to panic and sprint through a tree lighting ceremony. Officials vowed to protect both animal welfare and public holiday dignity. In this town, even Santa Paws needs government clearance. 14. No Christmas tree transport on roofs without tie-down certification, New Jersey. A New Jersey regulation penalizes transporting Christmas trees on car roofs unless they're secured with approved fastening methods. The rule was created after multiple runaway trees rolled across highways like festive tumbleweeds. Highway patrol officers reported dodging rogue evergreens at 65 miles per hour. If your tree can achieve highway escape velocity, you're officially a seasonal safety hazard. 15. No overly scary Halloween decorations. Utah. In parts of Utah, homeowners are restricted from displaying excessively frightening decorations visible from public streets. This law was introduced after several animatronic monsters reportedly triggered panic calls from elderly residents and one jogger who believed he witnessed an exorcism. Municipal guidelines now define acceptable spookiness levels, which is exactly as absurd as it sounds. When your haunted house needs a compliance officer, Halloween has lost all meaning. 16. Mandatory pumpkin disposal after Halloween. Oregon. One Oregon town requires residents to properly dispose of pumpkins within a set number of days after Halloween to prevent rot-related wildlife disturbances. The rule was created after raccoons formed pumpkin-smashing gangs that terrorized neighborhoods. Locals reported nocturnal raids that looked like orange explosions across driveways. If your pumpkin becomes a raccoon buffet, congratulations, you're now part of a municipal problem. 17. No champagne sabering on New Year's Eve. Nevada. Some Nevada counties prohibit the ceremonial sabering of champagne bottles on New Year's Eve, after too many amateurs attempted swashbuckling with kitchen knives. Hospitals reported spike injuries, ruined carpets, and one man who accidentally launched a cork through a ceiling fan. Authorities now require champagne bottles to be opened in a non-aggressive manner. Any celebration that requires a sword usually ends with a paperwork sword. 18. No unauthorized Santa impersonations. Georgia. Georgia has a law requiring official permission to portray Santa Claus at public holiday events, stemming from past incidents of rogue Santas offering unapproved candy and questionable advice. One infamous Santa reportedly promised children a pony if zoning laws allowed it. The state tightened regulations to preserve the integrity of Christmas characters. When Santa needs a background check, the North Pole isn't the one in charge anymore. 19. No holiday car horn use. Connecticut. Several Connecticut suburbs enforce noise control ordinances that specifically forbid celebrating holidays by honking car horns. The law was introduced after graduation parades and New Year's caravans caused sound levels comparable to small aircraft. Residents lobbied for peace on earth, or at least peace on my street. If your celebration sounds like a traffic jam having a nervous breakdown, expect a citation. 20. No fireworks safe zones near holiday barbecues. Texas. In some Texas counties, it's illegal to light fireworks within a certain radius of public holiday barbecues after multiple firework embers ignited picnic tables and, on one memorable occasion, an entire tray of hot dog buns. Officials designated no launch zones, marked with signs that locals immediately ignored, because nothing says freedom like outlawing fireworks next to flammable patriotism. 21st. No outdoor fruitcake tossing. Indiana. Indiana once implemented a ban on public food flinging competitions after a holiday festival attempted a fruitcake tossing contest that quickly escalated into a dessert-based riot. Attendees hurled dense, brick-like fruitcakes with alarming velocity, reportedly shattering windows and one unlucky gazebo roof. The town council outlawed all future pastry projectiles to avoid repeating what locals now call the Great Fruitcake Offensive. Any dessert capable of property damage probably deserves to be classified as a weapon. 22. No Christmas caroling while masked. Pennsylvania. An old mask and disguise law in parts of Pennsylvania technically prohibits wearing full-face masks while singing in groups, even during holiday caroling. The rule, intended to stop masked mobs, accidentally criminalizes festive anonymity. A group of well-meaning carolers once received warnings for wearing matching snowman heads. When you need to unmask Frosty before singing, the law might be too frosty itself. 23. No witch costumes for children under 12. Missouri, Halloween. Some Missouri towns passed rules forbidding children under 12 from wearing witch costumes that included brooms or staffs, citing potential tripping hazards after one Halloween parade turned into a domino line of falling mini witches. Parents demanded guidelines after a chain reaction wipeout caused chaos and minor emotional scarring. When your entire coven faceplants at once, safety regulations write themselves. 24. No Christmas fireplaces without screens. North Carolina. North Carolina enforces strict fireplace screen requirements during the Christmas season after firefighters responded to a series of Santa-themed emergencies. Families left fireplaces blazing for holiday ambiance, resulting in soot explosions, chimney flare-ups, and one incident where a decorative Santa dummy ignited mid-party. If your Santa catches fire before the cookies are served, you probably deserve the citation. 25. No overly bright holiday yard displays. Florida. Certain Florida HOAs fine residents for holiday displays deemed excessively luminous, a standard created after one homeowner installed a 250,000 light spectacle visible from low-flying aircraft. Neighbors reported migraines, power surges, and one confused retiree who believed aliens had finally arrived. When your Christmas lights cause FAA concerns, it's time to tone it down. 26. No unauthorized holiday parades. Illinois. Illinois requires formal permission for any public procession celebrating seasonal events after a neighborhood attempted an impromptu Christmas golf cart parade that devolved into slow-motion chaos. Vehicles stalled, children threw candy like projectiles, and one participant accidentally crashed into a nativity scene. Officials now insist on permits for all mobile holiday enthusiasm. If your parade needs hazard insurance, spontaneity is no longer allowed. 27. No Santa hat on public statues. Washington. Washington state prohibits altering public monuments, including adding Santa hats during December. The law was invoked after pranksters repeatedly placed oversized hats on historic statues, resulting in social media fame and municipal frustration. Officials complained the hats caused water damage and unnecessary holiday cheer. When a statue in a Santa hat causes governmental distress, priorities might be misaligned. 28. No holiday laser shows without approval. Nevada. Some Nevada counties require permits for holiday laser light shows after one Christmas Spectacular accidentally projected beams into a nearby airport's airspace. Pilots reported confusion, residents panicked, and the FAA had several stern conversations with the event organizer. The county now demands laser trajectory diagrams from anyone with ambitious decor plans. If your lawn display needs coordination with air traffic control, you've gone too far. 29. No releasing lanterns on New Year's Eve. Kansas. Kansas bans floating lantern releases after one New Year's celebration caused a chain reaction of grass fires across open fields. Residents described the scene as romantic until everything was on fire. Insurance companies reportedly begged lawmakers to step in before the prairie burned down annually. When your wish lanterns become guided missiles, regulation becomes a love letter to common sense. 30. No holiday piñatas shaped like real people. California. California restricts piñatas resembling real individuals during celebrations to prevent defamation and public disturbance following an incident where a hyper-realistic piñata of a local official led to a media frenzy. Crowds gleefully demolished the papier-mâché figure, prompting legal debates about symbolic violence. If your party decoration triggers a political scandal, maybe stick to cartoon donkeys. 31. No Christmas caroling by bicycle. Oregon. Some Oregon towns prohibit mobile caroling conducted from bicycles after a group of enthusiastic singers attempted a rolling holiday serenade that led to multiple traffic disruptions. Cyclists wobbled through intersections while belting out Jingle Bell Rock, causing drivers to panic and one delivery truck to veer into a pile of inflatable snowmen. The ordinance now demands carolers remain stationary to preserve safety and sanity. Because nothing says danger like a choir on wheels trying to hit the high notes. 32. No Thanksgiving parades with live turkeys. Minnesota. Minnesota banned the use of live turkeys in holiday parades after an infamous procession where several disgruntled birds staged a mass escape. Feathers flew, spectators screamed, and the event descended into what witnesses described as a poultry-themed war zone. The law now restricts parades to plastic or plush turkeys only. When your parade ends with SWAT teams chasing poultry, plush toys are the only logical solution. 33. No decorating public trees without permission. Connecticut. A Connecticut regulation forbids decorating public trees for holidays after well-meaning residents repeatedly transformed municipal oaks into seasonal hazards. One winter, a tree overloaded with ornaments shed its branches during a storm, scattering shattered bulbs and tinsel like festive shrapnel. The city concluded that taxpayers should not foot the bill for exuberant holiday ambitions. If your public tree needs hazard pay, it's time to stop decorating. 34. No using leaf blowers during Hanukkah. New York. Some New York neighborhoods instituted temporary bans on leaf blowers during Hanukkah to maintain peace and respect for evening celebrations. The law emerged after noise complaints spiked, with residents describing the sounds as a demonic vacuum interrupting sacred tradition. Officials opted to enforce quiet hours to preserve community harmony. When technology disrupts spirituality, the leaf blowers must yield. 35. No inflatable snowmen taller than your house. South Carolina. South Carolina enacted limits on holiday inflatables after a homeowner installed a 35-foot snowman towering over rooftops, causing a small traffic jam as drivers slowed to admire or flee from it. Neighbors claimed the snowman watched them sleep, creating a mild neighborhood panic. Authorities stepped in to limit inflatable height relative to property size. If your decor triggers a neighborhood surveillance conspiracy, it's too big. 36. No holiday bonfires within city limits. Ohio. Some Ohio cities ban holiday bonfires after a Yule log celebration spun wildly out of control, producing flames high enough to singe streetlights. Firefighters battled the inferno while residents roasted marshmallows with questionable judgment. Officials now restrict open flames to prevent future festivals from turning into impromptu disaster drills. If your holiday fire gets its own zip code, expect a citation. 37. No dressing up as pilgrims without historical accuracy. Massachusetts. A Massachusetts historic district requires anyone portraying pilgrims during Thanksgiving events to follow strict guidelines for clothing accuracy. Violations include zippers, synthetic fabrics, and hats with incorrect buckle placement. The rule emerged after a historically themed festival devolved into chaos due to clashing anachronisms. When your costume needs a museum curator, the holiday has officially become homework. 38. No New Year's midnight marching bands. Idaho. Certain Idaho towns prohibit marching bands from performing at midnight due to excessive noise complaints after one band blasted a celebratory rendition of Auld Lang Syne that allegedly shook nearby chicken coops. Local farmers reported traumatized hens and dramatically reduced egg production. If your music ruins breakfast for an entire town, it's probably illegal. 39. No Easter egg colors that attract wildlife. Colorado. Colorado parks forbid the use of overly bright Easter eggs in public hunts after wildlife repeatedly mistook them for food. Rangers documented bears, foxes, and even elk crashing events in search of plastic snacks. Several hunts ended early amid scenes resembling nature documentaries gone wrong. When elk start participating in your egg hunt, the law needs revision. 40. No New Year's Eve kiss in moving vehicles. Kentucky. Kentucky enforces a regulation discouraging celebratory New Year's kisses in moving vehicles after multiple incidents of drivers leaning in mid-highway. The law aims to prevent romantic distraction-related collisions, a phrase that hints at lawmakers' exhaustion. Police once stopped a couple enthusiastically making out at 50 miles per hour. If your midnight kiss requires hazard lights, it's officially unsafe. 41. No throwing Mardi Gras beads from balconies, Louisiana. In parts of New Orleans, tossing Mardi Gras beads from balconies without a permit is illegal due to past incidents where bead storms turned Bourbon Street into a low-budget meteor shower. Revelers reported minor concussions and whiplash from airborne plastic enthusiasm. Authorities now require balcony throwers to undergo safety briefings, turning spontaneous celebration into regulated chaos. When your party favors are classified as falling debris, the fun has officially peaked. 42. No playing patriotic music too loud on July 4th, Virginia. Some Virginia neighborhoods enforce decibel limits specifically for patriotic music. After one Independence Day block party blasted the Star-Spangled Banner at rock concert volume, elderly residents reportedly believed a military flyover was happening directly above their homes. Officials intervened to maintain celebratory dignity and prevent acoustic warfare. If your anthem triggers battle instincts, your speakers are too loud. 43. No holiday yard nativity scenes with live actors, Alabama. Certain Alabama towns ban live actor nativity scenes after an overzealous amateur production accidentally involved a runaway cow, an untrained donkey, and 3 wise men who fled when the animals gained momentum. The chaos ended in a parking lot stampede and 1 shattered lawn angel. Authorities moved quickly to restrict nativity performers to non-living props. If your holiday reenactment requires livestock control, it's too realistic. 44. No Christmas Carol flash mobs, California. Several California malls prohibit Christmas Carol flash mobs after one group's surprise performance caused shoppers to panic, believing the mall was experiencing an evacuation drill. The event halted escalators, triggered fire alarms, and caused a stampede toward the exits. Officials banned impromptu singing to prevent future melodically induced mayhem. When Silent Night becomes a code red, Christmas has gone rogue. 45. No holiday cookie exchanges over 25 people, Washington. Washington state restricts large home-based cookie exchange gatherings after one enormous baking party created a parking crisis that gridlocked an entire neighborhood. Residents complained of sugar-fueled congestion, and emergency vehicles were unable to pass. The law now caps cookie-swapping crowds at modest levels to protect public order and waistlines. When your dessert party requires traffic control, regulation is inevitable. 46. No holiday fire displays without spark approval, Colorado. Colorado mandates special permits for choreographed fire performances during winter festivals after a troop's fiery routine accidentally ignited nearby decorations. Witnesses described a majestic dance that briefly turned into a municipal emergency. Firefighters arrived to extinguish both flames and performance ambitions. If your art installation needs both applause and a fire extinguisher, expect paperwork. 47. No caroling with amplifiers, Michigan. Michigan banned the use of amplified speakers during caroling events after a group armed with portable subwoofers blasted Christmas songs at nightclub volume. Entire blocks rattled, pets panicked, and one resident filed a complaint claiming his houseplants were vibrating in fear. Authorities insisted that seasonal joy must be delivered acoustically. If your carols can be heard from orbit, tone it down. 48. No holiday drone deliveries without mapping, Nevada. Some Nevada towns restrict using drones for holiday deliveries after one resident attempted to drop gift bags via drone from a rooftop. The stunt resulted in mid-air tangles, shattered decorations, and an aerial collision with an inflatable Rudolph. Officials now require drone maps to avoid uncontrolled festive bombardments. If your gift delivery looks like a budget military operation, it's probably illegal. 49. No pumpkin launching competitions without barriers, Arkansas. Arkansas limits pumpkin launching contests after an annual fall festival accidentally sent gourds flying into neighboring farms. One pumpkin reportedly traveled half a mile before obliterating a greenhouse. Locals now build reinforced barriers to contain the ballistic squash. If your pumpkin requires trajectory calculations, you're basically an artillery officer. 50. No holiday costume horses in parades. Texas. Texas prohibits dressing horses in elaborate holiday costumes after one parade featured a horse adorned in full tinsel regalia that spooked mid-route. Chaos ensued as the glitter-covered horse galloped through crowds, scattering children and flattening a Santa sleigh prop. Officials banned excessive equine decoration for public safety. If your horse sparkles more than your Christmas tree, it's a hazard. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've survived a guided tour through America's most festive descent into bureaucratic madness. 50 laws, each more bewildering than the last, have revealed a national tradition more powerful than holiday spirit: the unstoppable urge to regulate absolutely everything. We've seen states legislate snowballs, caroling volume, pumpkin behavior, turkey hygiene, parade animals, inflatable snowman height, and the spiritual threat level of Halloween decor. And the most impressive part? Every single rule was created because someone, somewhere, did something so catastrophically stupid that lawmakers decided the entire population had to be protected from it forever. It makes you wonder what the meeting rooms looked like. City councils gathering around long wooden tables, staring at reports of marauding raccoons, airborne fruitcakes, traumatized turkeys, runaway donkeys, glitter explosions, and rebellious reindeer, all while nodding solemnly and writing laws with a straight face. Holiday joy may be unpredictable, but municipal panic is a science. The absurdity isn't just in the laws themselves, it's in the way they reveal the beautifully chaotic relationship between American celebration and American governance. For every citizen who wants to hang lights until July, there's a neighbor who calls the police at 10:01 p.m. because the carolers reached verse 3. For every ambitious decorator who builds a 35-foot inflatable snowman, there's a city inspector whispering, "Not on my watch." And through it all, one truth becomes clear. Holidays don't bring out the best in us. They bring out the real in us. Messy, ridiculous, overexcited, and proudly illogical. Take a breath, because the file isn't finished yet. It only gets stranger from here. And now that we've sifted through 50 of America's strangest, most unnecessary, most head-tilting holiday laws, one thing becomes painfully clear. Humanity has never celebrated anything without finding a way to make it absurd. You would think holidays, moments meant for joy, peace, reflection, and overeating, would be the simplest part of society. But no, not in America. In America, even the act of celebrating requires guidelines, restrictions, municipal approvals, safety briefings, designated zones, prohibited zones, height limits, noise caps, and the occasional animal handling regulation. And that's what makes this file so fascinating. Every law we've uncovered is a fossil from a past incident, a scar left behind by one spectacularly poor human decision. Somewhere, a town had to learn the hard way that launching flaming lanterns during a drought is a bad idea. Somewhere, a city council had to debate whether a runaway donkey in a Santa hat constituted a public safety threat. And somewhere, a group of exhausted firefighters had to explain why a 35-foot inflatable snowman absolutely cannot coexist peacefully with electricity lines. But beyond the comedy, there is a pattern, a beautifully human one. Holidays magnify who we really are. They bring out the dreamers who want to decorate the entire block. They bring out the minimalists who want silence after 9 p.m. They bring out the overachievers who attempt choreographed fire performances, and the underachievers who forget to secure a Christmas tree to the roof of their car. They bring out community, chaos, creativity, conflict, and occasionally combustible fruitcakes. These laws aren't just strange rules. They're snapshots of a country learning, year after year, that joy without boundaries can turn into emergency response drills very quickly. They prove that celebration is messy. So messy, in fact, that cities felt compelled to write legislation about piñatas, porch lights, parade animals, and holiday-themed property damage. And yet, despite all the warnings, citations, and committee meetings, people still try. They still dance, decorate, gather, build, ignite, throw, launch, carve, sing, and celebrate with the same reckless optimism that created these laws in the first place. And maybe that's the real lesson buried in this absurd archive. Holidays don't just show us how strange the rules are, they show us how strange we are. We're unpredictable enough to need legal limits, but hopeful enough to keep celebrating anyway. So as we close this case file, remember, somewhere out there, someone is inventing a brand new bad idea that will one day become a city ordinance. And when it does, you know exactly where it belongs. This has been the Absurdist Files, where logic takes a vacation and reality writes the jokes.